Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, it's here. It is here. The 13th studio album and the 6th self-titled by Weezer with the Black Album. We were promised this thing 2 years ago. It never happened. We got Pacific Daydream instead, which was more than underwhelming, to say the least. And then early last month, we got the surprise Teal album, which was the covers album, which releases on CD next week. So, we got 10 new tracks from Weezer. Of course, Can't Knock the Hustle kicks things off. That kicked off the Black Album era, and it was one of my favorites. It was a definite banger, to say the least. Here's my problem with the album. It has kind of that Bring Me the Horizon Amo syndrome, where the first half of the album is probably the best part about the album. The first 4 songs are definitely where it's at. Can't Knock the Hustle just kicks it off, Zombie Bastards does its thing, High as a Kite, and Living in LA has so much energy to it as well. And then, of course, track 6, Piece of Cake is probably, it's one of my least favorite, to go along with one I'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, Piece of Cake is just kind of there, I think. I wasn't really a fan when I had heard it, but I'm just being honest, did make one of my favorite ones too. It's basically he's just bashing somebody and saying, hey, don't get mad at me. I'm just telling the truth. I'm just telling you how it is and all this stuff. So, yeah, at least tracks 1 through 4 and 6 are, decent. And don't get me wrong, I think Prince That Wanted Everything and Too Many Thoughts in My Brain are also, or Too Many Thoughts in My Head are also good songs. They're just nothing that are memorable to that. And even Byzantine, it's okay. It's kind of just, I don't know. It seems too bland for me. It's just, I don't know. Some of these songs just feel in the right place, and then others just kind of feel out of place. Speaking of out of place, why the hell did they add California Snow to this album? This was their, I thought, a single for the album Spell, I think it was. Something that was going to be at like a film festival, but it ended up being here on the album as the track that finishes the album off. And once again, I ask, why again? I hated this song when I first heard it, and I said if this ends up on the Black Album, I'm going to be pissed, and I kind of am that it's on here, because the rest of the stuff is fine, but I feel like if you take away Piece of Cake and California Snow and add 2 other songs on here, I think you got yourself a pretty decent album. Was I expecting more from Weezer at this point in their careers? No, not really. I've past couple of albums, at least since they came back in 2014, I've really been just kind of cautious with, going into an album of theirs with high expectations, because I know at this point in time, again, we're never going to get the Blue Album, we're never going to get Pinkerton. I don't even think we'll get anything close to like Green Albums, say that, but I just know that I can't just give up on them, and that's why I listen to these songs. And what I had heard, the 4 to the 5 that were released beforehand, I liked and was, going, okay. But in my head, and I called it in my head, I said, this is going to be another one of those albums, just like Bring Me the Horizons album, where the first half is where it's at. It's the part I'm going to want to listen to. Whereas the second half is just going to kind of fall off a bit. And that's where it is. This is why I think bands and artists should stop putting the singles all scrunched together at the top. Mix them up. Make it interesting. The fact that the first 4 singles are the first 4 songs of the album, it's just like, I guess it's fine, but at the same time, the only other single after track 4 is California Snow at 10, and that one's not all that great. And these other ones are just kind of placed there. You can move some of these up, move some of these down. You can say move Zombie Bastards down to the 5th spot and put I'm Just Being Honest up at the 2. Sometimes it's better to mix things around than to mash the singles together, because then you'll come up with an album like this, where it's not terrible, but once you get to the second half, you're just kind of skipping around. Weezer hasn't had a great album where I don't think I would skip anything since, like I said, maybe Pinkerton. But, this just has has that bad that bad thing of you can't, second half just gets a little boring from there on. The sound falls flatter and flatter with each song throughout this entire album from song 6 and on. Well, I can't say 6 because I like 6, but Piece of Cake and California Snow are the only 2 tracks I really disliked, and then there was those couple of okay tracks. But overall, this album, I think, surprised me a lot more than it did. I thought it was going to be another Pacific Daydream. There wasn't a lot about Pacific Daydream there was songs, don't get me wrong. It's not like I gave it a terrible 1 out of 10 or anything. I gave it a 4 out of 10. But this one, I can definitely say it was a step up. And was it worth the wait? Probably not as much. Like I said, it really wasn't worth the wait that much when you think about it. We waited 2 extra years just to hear Rivers Cuomo say bitch and shit and fuck a couple extra times just to get a parental advisory sticker and an explicit language thing on the album. So, it was hard for me to rate this thing. It really was, thinking about it now. And really, my rating would have to be a 7 out of 10. I don't think it needs to be lower than a 6. And the fact that I only dislike 2 of the 10 songs is probably why I gave it a 7, because even the okay tracks don't really push it down that much. The good tracks obviously bring it up a lot. If it wasn't for those first 4 tracks, and I'm just being honest, this album would probably be maybe a 5 or a 4, but this is sitting at a 7 because it has a lot of great aspects to it. There's some great solos, there's instruments. I can hear, you can hear instruments in Pacific Daydream, but they're used a lot more in here, and the darker tone to this album just kind of reels you in a bit more, I think. And it's, as Rivers Cuomo stated, the Beach Boys gone bad. So yeah, I'm somewhat impressed, but also somewhat disappointed. I really don't know how to feel with this thing, but if we're not counting the Teal album, it's better than their last release. I had no problem with the Teal album either. I actually gave that a higher rating than this. But yeah, that's it for me. Tell me in the comments below, what did you think of the Black Album by Weezer? Was it good? Was it bad? Tell me some of your favorite songs, your least favorite tracks. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, share. And I will catch you guys next time.